briefly. Talked about the brown water and then asked the question if my meter could be moved to Spring Street. And we're back to, I guess, discuss that option and see where it takes us.
Okay, have you talked to Doug?
I have not.
See, he's the guy that takes care of these things.
Chris, I had went over and looked at that. What's puzzling me is we have you and the church and the other house there on the church property are all three on that line on Oak, and they haven't been having any brown water issues.
They're on a separate one. Mine is separate from theirs, for some reason.
But they come off the same main
Okay.
under Oak Street. It runs north and south on Oak Street.
Mm-hmm.
But I did notice that in the parking lot there, about where the handicap parking signs are,
Mm-hmm.
there is an old meter there, and I don't know if it would have served, was it for a store or something there?
There was a house there at one time,
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's a very old meter, and I hesitated to try and turn it on because I don't know where the line goes to at this time. But it is a possibility that if we needed to, we could put a new meter in there, but the church would be responsible for running the line from your house to our meter.
To the meter, right.
Yes.
We're willing to take that responsibility if it solves the issue of the water.
It's just puzzling to me because all three are in, you know, why you're getting it in the church and the other residents is not. I called the Lines of Indiana water lines, and they said it could possibly be that it might have an old galvanized line running from the meter into your residence that is starting to deteriorate and rust, could be causing it. But I think, you know, it might be an option that we could look at going off of that meter there in the church parking lot. I don't know if you're familiar with where it's at. It's right about where the handicap parking areas are.
Okay.
And that might, you know, involve us digging that up and installing a newer meter with a reader, automatic reader on it, because it looked like the meter was fairly old. Probably might have been the original one from when the house was there in the 70s. But, I mean, that is a possibility.
Okay, is that something the board would be willing to agree to do?
Well, we're gonna probably move on Doug's recommendation, what he thinks is gonna be best on that situation.
Okay.
I mean, if the church is willing to run a line to the meter on this side, it may be worth just running a new line to your other meter. I mean, like Doug said, that might be a possibility. Your old line is starting to deteriorate and go bad, so.
Do you know if it is a galvanized line coming into the residence?
No, sir, I don't.
I mean, that was one thing the Alliance, because I called them, you know, because they help communities and deal with this all over Indiana because of the hard water, which is what causes the brown water. And that was one of the things they asked if I knew the type of line you had running from your meter into the residence.
There's no doubt it's an older line. I mean, the house has been there for several years and it's running from that meter for several years. So there's no doubt it's an older line.
I don't know if that would be the cause of it. Like I said, you know, with the church not getting it, you seem to be getting it frequently from what you told me.
Yeah.
And the other residents on the corner of Race and Oak, I don't know that they've had any issues.
They get it and the church gets it occasionally, but it seems like I get it frequently. And there's no correlation between flushing and me receiving brown water or anything like that.
Right.
It just shows up.
Well, we'd like to turn that over to Doug and let him look into it further, and we don't know anything about that
Is
sort of thing.
the Christian maintenance guy there at the church, is there any way he could,
We can look into what kind of lines there and
yeah,
I can get back to you.
see what we're looking at, and you know, I mean, it is a possibility that we may be able to go off that other meter. Again, you guys would have to run a new line to us,
Right.
but, you know, if we run a new line to the other meter and that's not what's causing it, if your line isn't what's causing it, that would kind of defeat the purpose. But yeah, if you can find out if it is an old galvanized line, and we can look into maybe possibly letting you run out and hook onto that existing meter there in the parking lot.
Okay. Okay, that answers my questions for now. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Okay, anyone else that would like to bring up an issue?
John, as you go into the park, on the left-hand side, all three, there's a lot of small trees there that have died. They're completely dead. The ones on the right are alive. And I don't think that the guys that are doing the trees that were messing with those little trees like that. I don't know. So I just wondered if that's something that could be addressed, because just need some new trees there, little small ones. They're both of them, they were a flowering type tree, a dogwood
Yeah, I looked under.
or something like that. They're gone.
I don't know what got them, but all three of them's gone.
Uh-huh.
I think Gabe was planning on planting some flowering trees in there.
Yes. So if he'd be made aware of those, maybe.
And, you know, he could, maybe kind of earmark that area, I don't know, with rapid repairs or something like that, working in maybe.
Yeah, anything that would look nice, yeah. Wouldn't
The
matter.
ones on the other side seem fine.
What was it, the Ruritans or Optimists were going to donate some trees,
Well, there's some other groups too. He's been talking to people, and
okay.
I'm pretty sure the VFW is gonna donate some, and the way they're talking, and I know he's been talking to other people, so.
I think we decided on the really needs to do it too.
And I think leave it to Schwarzenegger on what type of trees, so. Unless you all have some ideas, I sure,
Well, with the exception if we lose a flowering, replace it with a flowering.
Well, and up there toward the front, you don't want a great big tree, like flowering's right there, nice coming in, so.
and I think anybody would agree with that.
But, you know, again, I think as long as Doug stays in contact with him and,
I spoke with Gabe here a few weeks ago about talking to Bev when they got ready to start painting on the inside there, not to conflict with old settlers setup or
Yeah.
anything like
That's
that.
fine.
This time of year, you pull there in front and you look at that park, it is astounding what's happened to that. The trees, the number of trees that are gone. It's just hard to believe that we're at that point, but. I did talk to Dick about mowing, and he says he mows 3 inches over there, and he said I can go with 4, but, Schwarzenegger and the state forest are both recommending 3 to 4, so I think with them, whatever he feels is best over there, certainly nothing less than 3 inches. So, he's fully aware, and I don't know what else we can do.
You've been mentioned on our Kubota mower too, that we're about in the age to be looking at trading that.
We just got cut again.
Hmm?
We just got cut again.
I know. But the longer you use more out of it, the less value, of course. I know the money's not there.
Yeah, we got another cut in the circuit breaker deal, whatever that amounts to, is pretty substantial. Yeah,
It is not one to have a part to.
they'd rather we didn't. Put a collection box over there at the entrance. You looking for that?
I was trying to find the amount for the circuit breaker.
I have it.
Next, it's
Copy
right
somewhere.
here.
Eleanor got whacked and
A total of 12,055
take
for
all that.
circuit breaker credits. Yep.
So what's the total park budget now? I mean,
Well, it's fully funded because they used, the tax levy to fill it. We only get like, say, 552 in revenue for that, and 23 to maintain it. So they just kind of juggle that's why the general fund don't have as much, because, you know, 15,000 is going to the park to just maintain it.
Right.
I do have these reports to get to you.
And what else? Sir?
I have one, John. I have